Somebody I vibe with, for real. You know what I'm saying?
Are you ready?
Cause okay.
Welcome back.
That was fine.
What was that?
And then the clip is gonna cut from you asking me to you suddenly having water.
I need to see myself. Is that the point that I get to end this? And I'm like, oh my god, my hair. I'm like, we gotta do it over.
Who's that?
Hey girl, hey, my name is Danielle. Welcome back to my channel. So as y'all can see, it's not just me in the video. So this is my friend Ashton, and we are going to be having a couch conversation. If you guys, sorry. So this is a little idea concept that Ashton and I came up with. Okay guys, it's a lot going on behind the scenes. But if y'all like this whole couch conversation, cozy couch convos or whatever, y'all like the idea and you guys like and enjoy this video, let me know in the comments and we can keep this thing rolling. So speaking of channels, Ashtyn has a channel. If you guys have not ever seen her here on YouTube, which she has thousands and thousands of subscribers, so I'm sure you guys can. Go check her channel out. You can find all things about faith, lifestyle, Bible studies, if you want to get more into the word. Hopefully we can give y'all some bloopers if I edit it correctly. But Ash, can you tell us, how did we come up with this idea?
So as she mentioned, we both have YouTubes, and so we were like, we need to make a video together, but we were stuck on ideas for what we were gonna do. And then every time we talk, we literally take it off. So as she mentioned, we both have YouTube.
Okay, go ahead.
How you can say go ahead as you go to grab the loud water?
Bro, go. No, but I'm invisible. I can very much see you, babe.
Okay. So as she mentioned, we both have YouTube channels. So one day we were just talking, like, we need to be on each other. Like, we need to make a video together. But we were lost for ideas of what to talk about. And then one day we were just talking, and we were talking for like 5 hours about just like everything under the sun. And if anyone knows us in real life, like, we're gonna laugh. If there's one thing we're gonna do, it's laugh. And so we were like, we just need to have a casual conversation and we just need to talk to each other. But we do have some help with some cards.
Yeah. So
these are from the Skin Deep. They're called the And this is the Friends edition. They have a bunch of different editions, relationships, strangers, things like that. So
this is not an ad,
but they can sponsor her if they want to.
Can.
Yes.
I think, just to add to what you said, Ash, I think it's very important to display what godly relationships, godly friendships look like. And I think that's important because just as Christians, as believers, as young Black women, you don't really see a lot of friendships displayed. And women who are looking for godly friendships and looking for community and struggle with like loneliness and stuff like that.
Who's that? 10 hours last night.
Ashton,
go back
what were
for
you
another 10
doing?
hours.
Okay y'all, so we're gonna get into the video and we're gonna start off with these questions. So we grabbed a stack out of the deck and
we're gonna answer them randomly.
And we're gonna answer. You wanna go first? I'm sure they guess.
Sure, I'd love to.
My pleasure.
Okay, so this question says, how does competition affect our relationship? So for me, and I'm sure you'll agree, like I don't think competition affects our relationship at all. I feel like we both have a sureness about who we are, and so I don't know, I feel like for me personally it feels like we're much stronger together than, you know, trying to compete with each other.
I agree. I feel like, so to give you guys some context though about why I feel like this is important, we go to the same church. We met at church, and we're both in ministry, and so I think what's so significant about the fact that competition doesn't affect our relationship is because we live in a world where women in general are competing against each other, and women a lot of times feel like she can't have one up on me, da, da, da. Like they're always trying to one up one another, and it comes from, I feel like, not knowing who they are. And so it's very special when you do have women who are whole and complete in themselves and in who God has called and created them to be. And I don't know about everybody's experience. I'm not saying that this is hard.
This is also not our experience, but with each other.
And
this friendship.
Yeah, like in this friendship, this isn't our experience, but you know, you have seen some people and some people in ministry who, you know, like clash and don't really mesh very well because of competition.
Definitely.
Say something else about it.
Because I feel like a lot of times with like women in society in general, like I feel like it's getting better now, but there just hasn't always been a lot of space for us. So there's always been that token woman or only minimal spots for women, and so we feel like we have to fight each other for that.
Yeah.
But as we said, like when you know who you are and you also know that whatever God has for you is for you, and like if he's called you to something, then he'll place you where you need to be. Like there's no need for competition. And so yeah, I just really value that instead of competing with each other, we encourage each other and push each other. Because I'd much rather have somebody on my side than like an enemy. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think too, like as you was talking, that made me think about how I just lost my train of thought.
I was thinking about it.
I was indeed thinking about it. I promise you I was not daydreaming. Oh, I think that another thing that and we'll probably answer some questions about this, but I value about our friendship and just who we are as people, and I could just speak for myself, that it's important to be humble enough to be inspired by somebody else and let another woman like have things that you don't have and learn from them, basically. And I think that, I don't know, like when you just allow pride and lack of identity, when all that stuff is out the way, oh my gosh, competition doesn't really exist when you're not afraid to learn from somebody else. And not. Okay, let's say, how would you describe true love? Oh, sorry. Okay, so how would you describe true love? I would describe true love as following from our ultimate example of Jesus, as sacrifice, as it's true love is sacrificial, true love is patient, true love is enduring. Honestly, the love of God is in all the ways you would describe the love of God and the love of Christ is how I would describe true love, because that's how I see love through the lens of, or that's what I see love through the lens of.
I would agree. I also think that on top of, or like a part of the sacrificial part is just the giving aspect, like the giving of yourself. And I feel like nowadays that's just not something that anybody wants to do. Nobody wants to have anybody get one up on them, or like we just don't want to outgive each other. But that's what Christ did for us, like not knowing what we would, if we would accept it, not knowing if we would love it. Like we have the option to say no, we have the option to reject it, and he did it anyway. So true love is giving without requiring something back, or without excuse me.
Hey!
She knows.
Yes. Go in the house.
So yeah, I think that true love is giving of yourself. But yeah, on top of everything that you already said, obviously. So the best example is him. And so I feel like a lot of times we try to feel like we have to piece things together from what we see in the media, or from what we see from our parents, or just the relationships that we're around. But as believers, like we have the blueprint.
I think too, like there's a lot that the world lacks, but like dang. That was hard.
No, it's not. That's what it is.
No, you had it. I feel like just that sacrificial piece, and especially seeing it through the lens of like romantic love, to have to lay down your life for somebody else. I can be selfish.
My way or the highway. My way. My way.
So you said what?
You want to go where?
No.
Didn't I say I wanted to?
You know, I am the woman. What?
Bow to me.
What?
I read this.
What?
Do you have feelings?
Excuse me?
I didn't even know.
You're not obeying my commands? What? Who are you? Girl? That's a whole...
That's what our next conversation will be about.
We are a mess. As women? As women?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Prideful.
And if I disagree with you, she is a pick-me. She is... What? Okay. Like, I don't want to
like
Christ
Christ.
accountable.
Yeah. We need to have we do need to have
Like,
a conversation about that.
Controlling.
What does being a Christian woman, or what does biblical womanhood look like? That's a good conversation.
That's a great conversation.
Right. What were you? What?
I picked this.
Yeah. What were you like before we met, and how have I changed you?
What were you like before we met? What?
What were
Okay. Before we met, like I said, we had met at church, and specifically there's a training that is offered at our church called teachers training, where you get trained to teach, and that's where we really like met. So before that, I was at our church for a year, and like I was very like social, but I wasn't like as open to intimate relationships. I was close to one person who I had met at church, and that was it. Like the rest of my friends were friends that I had like outside of church, who we all came to Mount Zion together. But yeah, like I was never really like anti, or never like not talking to people, but I never really like let a lot of people in, if that makes sense. And the way that you changed me was having me do that, basically. Be open to I would just say that you helped me to be open outside of church. Like everything was cool inside. Like, oh yeah, I'll talk to you, but like, oh, you want to go grab? Nah, I'm busy that day. Actually, I can't. So like being open to actually doing life with people.
Mine's kind of similar to that in that it has to do with like being open. But for me, before we met, I didn't have like a lot of female friends. So I used to be the person that said like, I get along better with guys. Like I just like to hang out with guys, my male friends, things like that. I had close female friendships, but it was like the people that I grew up with, and that was it. So there was no new friends for real. Once Danielle and I started talking, I felt like, why are you laughing? Because I said your name.
You pronounce every vowel, every letter.
There's only two
Danielle.
consonants. How you teach your kids? Danielle.
Dan. Like, that was improper. If I've never seen.
Call me D. Or we met. I was just really closed off to female friends, and so once we started talking and got closer, I was like, wow, like it's cool to have female friends. It's cool to have friends that you can genuinely trust and like relate to, and it not be like the competition that we talked about, and it just be a fun friendship, and that we're just both on the same page. So yeah, before her, I was like, I don't need any new friends. And now I still don't need any new friends, but she somehow schools in there.
Okay. Oh, this kind of goes with what you were just saying, but how am I most like you, and does that scare you? Okay, ask it like that.
I feel like the way that we're most alike is probably like our sense of humor, and I think also just like what God has called us to, like our purpose and like wanting to minister to women and things like that. And I think it is scary actually sometimes, because it's like you also know what it takes, and so if I'm not living up to that, then you can speak to that. Whereas if it's somebody who's like on a whole different path, like they don't know what God's calling you to do, like they don't know the work that it takes, so they can just kind of be like, oh, it looks like she's doing what God is calling her to do. But when somebody is like on that same path in the trenches with you, then they can be like, no, come on, bro, like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
You're
so that's a little scary. Like, God, why couldn't you be a doctor or something?
God should have told you. It is something else. I'm joking about
the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think my answer will also be our like purpose. Like you said, in a sense of being passionate about helping women like discover who they are, you know, and just like walking their purpose out, but like also the world and youth. And you know, I'm gonna shut that in a second. But also in a sense of like sharing the gospel. And yeah, like the does that scare you piece, I agree. I feel like it can be scary, but I disagree in terms of like scary to me. I think it's scary to like the world, like, because that's so powerful when you have two women of God who know who they are and are active in executing their purpose. That makes hell nervous, and the world, you know, nervous. And I think that, you know, it's powerful, but I also agree in terms of like it can be challenging sometimes to have that accountability and have that, because like having a person who's right where you are, we're literally in the same space, and like, you know, a couple years apart. But I think that like you said, like you got somebody who like deals with the same challenges that you deal with for the most part. That accountability can be different.
Okay. What do you think I want most from life?
Yeah.
Why?
I would say to fully be all of who you know that you have the potential and who God has called you to be. For real. What?
Okay,
Okay, you say, what do you think would help improve our relationship?
What do I think would help improve our relationship? I don't think our relationship necessarily needs to be improved, but I think as we were talking about like earlier, I feel like there's just some stuff we might still not know about each other, or like it can go deeper. So not necessarily that it needs to get better, but just that it can be deeper. But I feel like that also comes with time.
Yeah.
And
okay, this is, I like
every time you say okay, I'm like,
no, they're good. These are good. Okay, so 15 years from now, how do you think our relationship will change? How old?
In 40?
I will be 39. And you'll be for what, 41?
You'll be what?
That was ignorant.
I'll be 40 on the dot. So
I better count that to myself.
Oh, 40 in 15 years. Wow, I will be 40. How do I think our relationship will change? I feel like hopefully, I mean, God willing,
we don't know.
by that time, I imagine that we'll both be like married with kids. Hate. Hopefully we're married, we have kids, we have done like a world of ministry by then, and so I think that our relationship will be different in a sense that it'll be more intentional, I guess, on like the impact that we're making, because right now we're still like in the growing phase. Like right now we're still learning who, like, we know who we are and like who God has called us to be, but we're still like, all of it is still unfolding. So I feel like by then obviously there will be new stuff. The ministry that we're doing is just, yeah, we're just at a place, like, I'm doing ministry right now, but just, it'll be different than, because we'll just have more experience. And so I feel like our conversations, because it's not like our conversations now are as complaining necessarily, but sometimes we be in the trenches and we be like, bro, what is God doing? So I feel like in 15 years we'll look back and we'll just be like, remember when we felt like this, remember when we were going through this, remember when that season was so hard. And we'll have much more wisdom, not only to share with each other but with others as well. So
I agree. I think like you said, we will be different from a standpoint of like, in 15 years we would have experienced so much of life, regardless of what that would look like, regardless married or not, kids or not, you know, ministry is going to go forth regardless. And so with all of that growth, I think, like you said, like, we're gonna have so much more wisdom than what we have now. And so while, you know, there will be, I feel like, opportunities to, I'm struggling with XYZ, or this is happening, da 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 da. Like, there's always gonna be seasons of stretching, but like you said, I definitely agree. It's going to look much more different, and we are gonna be looking back at these years laughing like.
I feel like this conversation, this question is kind of similar.
Okay.
Describe one experience you wish we'll have in the future. Getting married. Can't wait.
Stand behind each other.
Can't wait.
There's a way. Be on the breath. I feel like in the near future, I want to travel and go somewhere.
One experience that I wish we'll have in the future, which this is not really a wish because I'm sure it's gonna happen, but I'm just excited to see like a ministry opportunity, because like as you mentioned at the beginning, like of us knowing who we are and like how powerful that is. Like I don't know, when we're just like tag teaming demons.
Oh my god.
Like
Yeah.
that would be like from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
That would be insane to watch.
No, seriously.
Like a women's retreat or like conference or
oh my gosh, yeah.
like that would be fire.
In 5 words, describe how you think others perceive you.
First word that comes to mind is gifted. The second word is comical. Be serious. 5 words. Okay, gifted, comical, well, somebody told me the other day that they look at me and feel hope, so I'll use that as one of my words.
This one time I'm sorry. I love that though. That's beautiful. Seriously.
5 words. Describe how you know others perceive me. I have this thought in my head, but I can't figure out a word for it. Because I feel like sometimes people can look at me and think that like I don't care or I'm not a nonchalant. Yeah, but sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. And I'd say quiet.
Goofy.
Can't even get it out.
The train.
Oh.
Like, hold on. I would say goofy. Very like sweet and warm. I don't know what other way to, but like just the way I cling to people, kind of just like very personable. Inviting. Yeah, inviting. I would say like wise / mature for my age. Got a lot worse. Cooking. For all of the things that I was thinking about was people who don't know me. So it's like people.
You can do a mix.
I would say, okay, so those 3, and then people who don't know me, I think that they think before meeting me, I have heard like not friendly / arrogant, like standoffish. I heard it's like perceiving you as older. Does that make sense? Like that.
Yeah. Like your age, like age-wise, like thinking you're older.
Yeah, as older. How do our differences enhance our relationship?
The first difference that comes to mind is Danielle is very nice. As she said, sweet and welcoming. And you know, I want to be like you one day, maybe in 15 years. Patience of a saint. Because there are some situations, I'm just gonna tell people about themselves, but that's not always the best. That's not always what God would have for you to do. So that helps me. No, like I'm playing, but I'm actually being,
serious.
I'm being serious. Like, yeah, the way that you handle situations with not like people that are just like unruly, like they're not like crazy. It's not like we've been in like chaotic situations, but just like little things, like the way that you handle it, or you just let things like roll off your back, or you know, you just move on and you're just like, it is what it is. Like that inspires me. Like I know that's, but I feel like that enhances our relationship because I want to be more like that.
My answer is very similar. I think that like we're very similar, but we also have our differences to where it's kind of, I feel like we balance each other out. Like you're not mean, but you are very like direct in what you say. Like this is what it is. Where I am like, okay, let me think about it before it comes out of my mouth, because you know, and also like you in some like sometimes can be more like, okay, quiet, scope the scene, feeling stuff out, where I'm like, okay, vocal. Like I think that our differences enhance our relationship because ultimately we like balance each other out.
And I think it's interesting because we can be in a room and peep the same things, but it's like you said, like I'm gonna be the reserved person that's like watching and like in a vibe, and you're gonna be like talking to people, but like we're gonna still at the end peep
come back and have the exact same
peep the exact same things. And so yeah, we are very similar but different.
Okay, y'all, if you guys enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do you have any final words?
I really enjoyed this conversation, and you guys getting a lot of a taste of what our relationship.
We don't know, maybe after editing.
Never mind. Actually, none of this can go in here.
It's 6 something and she got here at 1:30.
Yep. Vibes.
See y'all.